in the words of MCR, I'm not okay. Please pardon my background. This was not the video I'd planned to film today. I planned to film this video at some point in the future. I was gonna have more notes together, but something happened today, and so this is the video that I'm making today. And that will make sense in context later on in the video. For right now, bear with me. I don't have notes. I'm flying by the seat of my pants here. I would say that we are going through an emo renaissance right now, if I may be so bold as to call it that. What does that mean? I am an elder emo. I am proud of the fact that I'm an elder emo. If you don't know what that is, it's pretty much just millennials that are still in the emo subculture. If you don't understand why we make that so much a part of our personalities, you have to first understand what the term emo originally meant. I'm not trying to sound pretentious, but most emo kids, at least when millennials were growing up, most of us that were labeled as emo kids were the outcasts. We were made fun of for listening to emo music. It was something that a lot of people didn't want to admit. But now we're having an emo resurgence. People are happily claiming the title of emo, which I feel like is why so many elder emos are so proud to take that title. Emo can range from a lot of things. I still love Death Cab and Dashboard Confessional. To me, those are like the ultimate emo. But it also includes pop punk. Bands like My Chemical Romance, Fall Out Boy, Panic at the Disco. Which is why this video is being filmed today. Emo went away a few years ago. The subculture has always still been there. But after the final Warped Tour happened, which I went to the last actual tour of Warped Tour, proud of my emo self. But after the last Warped Tour happened, I feel like emo fell off. You know, we still had companies like Emo Night. We still had Sad Summer Fest going around, but it was nothing like what the emo culture was when we still had Warped Tour. And then you had people like MGK starting to put out emo music, which I am not opposed to in any way, shape, or form. People have their opinions on him. I have always been an MGK fan, but I just want to say he was very mainstream, and then he started putting out more emo pop punk music. I'm not putting out any opinions on him, just he was somebody mainstream that started bringing it back. And then Travis Barker. And then Blink-182 came back. And then When We Were Young Fest happened. And it feels like once When We Were Young Fest hit, everyone was proud to be emo again. And then you had things like Hella Mega Tour happen, which I went to. I was so amped for that. And I was devastated. Anyone who doesn't know Hella Mega Tour, it happened last year. It was Green Day, Fall Out Boy, and Weezer. Of course, for those who don't know me, I live in the Boston area. I have already seen Green Day. I enjoy Weezer, but wasn't a huge fan. But I was amped for Fall Out Boy. And they canceled 2 shows on tour because of COVID. And Boston was one of the 2 shows that Fall Out Boy dropped out of. To say I was devastated would be an understatement. Fall Out Boy is in my top 5 bands of all time. And they just dropped a new single that sounds like we're in 2008. Every elder emo that I know is living their best life right now. Until today hit. Let me take you back in time. It's early 2006, January, let's say. Fall Out Boy is on the radio. You are going from Sugar We're Going Down to Dance Dance. Both are already singles. So people already know who Fall Out Boy is. You open your MySpace page, and then you find a little band being posted on there by Fall Out Boy. This little band is called Panic at the Disco. You hear that they're signed to Pete Wentz's record label, which you're like, oh, like anything signed by Pete Wentz has to be amazing. I'm not gonna lie, that's how I used to find new bands. I would just scroll through and see who Pete had signed to his record label. Am I a little ashamed of that fact? A little. Am I really ashamed? Not super. Because that's how I found some really awesome bands like Paramore. Honestly, anyone signed to Fueled by Ramen, I was almost guaranteed to be a fan of. If y'all have never heard of the Hush Sound or Damone, they were also bands on there, and they were A++. So you're like, let me listen to this new Panic at the Disco band. Wait, why does it sound so much like Fall Out Boy? Let me tell you, friends, Panic at the Disco and Fall Out Boy have always competed for the number 3 band in my top 3. It's always been very difficult for me to decide, and I've never made a decision. So you hear I Write Sins Not Tragedies. You think this band is going places. And then you keep listening to them. And you realize just how amazing they truly are. If my cat knocks over my camera, I'm going to kill her. You grow quite fond of this band. They even compete with Fall Out Boy for favorite band. You're still not sure who you choose. But you listen to both. You grow to love both. They're both in your top favorite bands. Fall Out Boy disappears, and Panic at the Disco steps up and takes over for that hole in your heart during the Fall Out Boy hiatus. And then Fall Out Boy comes back, and you have both bands again. And then Fall Out Boy goes away again. And then you reach last week, and Fall Out Boy drops a new single. And you feel like you're back in 2008. You feel like everything is finally right with the world again. You know that you're finally going to see Fall Out Boy on tour because they're putting out new music, they're going on tour, and they might have canceled the Boston show for Hella Mega Tour, but you're going to this tour. And then you get the news that we got today, the day that I'm filming this, about 10 minutes before I sat down to film. About 10 minutes before I sat down to film, I opened Instagram, and I saw a post by Brendan Urie, aka Panic at the Disco. Panic at the Disco is no more. We should all be living our best lives on Emo Island with Fall Out Boy right now. But instead, our emo renaissance is ending early. To quote the book series that shall not be named by the turf that we despise, neither can live while the other survives. And I'm realizing how true that is about Panic at the Disco and Fall Out Boy. I cried. I'm not going to lie, I cried. I'm hoping that Panic becomes a thing again, that it's just a hiatus, not ending for good. I respect that Brendan Urie wants to be there for his wife and his soon-to-be-born child. I don't know. Maybe I'm just an elder emo crying about the loss of one of her favorite bands. Everyone, I'm sure, reacted the same way when MCR disappeared, and they came back. MCR came back. Hence our emo renaissance, people. MCR is back. Paramore is back. Fall Out Boy is back. Avril's back. Blink is back. So why is Panic leaving us at a time when we need them the most? Maybe soon I'll do a full in-depth video on how the emo renaissance came to be instead of the very abbreviated version that I just gave y'all. But I feel like the emo renaissance is ending. And it's ending very quickly. If you looked at the lineup for this year's When We Were Young Fest, it's not even close to the same as last year's. This year, it's a lot of music that I did grow up listening to and loving, but I wouldn't consider it the same emo and pop punk. Like, the Veronicas are going to be there. I personally loved the Veronicas, but they're far from emo. And it just feels like the emo renaissance is ending. Like, society has said, okay, we had that nostalgia, now on to the next one. And I'm really hoping that Panic ending is not the start of the end. I don't know. Maybe I make no sense. Today's video was supposed to be about makeup originally, and then I saw this and couldn't do anything else with my time. I literally couldn't think about anything other than Panic at the Disco as soon as I heard this. You know, Fall Out Boy happened, and then they gave us Panic at the Disco. And then Panic at the Disco gave us 21 Pilots. Because 21 Pilots got big after they opened for Panic. I wonder what's happening next with the music scene. Alright, I need to go and try to get my emotions in check because, as MCR says, I'm not okay. I can't process this right now. Alright, thank you for watching me pour my heart out about how sad I am about Panic at the Disco being over. I will do full research into my full emo renaissance video that I'd been wanting to do, but then today happened. So it'll come up at some point. Don't expect it immediate because I need time to recover from this. Thank you for watching. Give the video a thumbs up to help mend my broken heart. Don't forget to subscribe, and because the algorithm's broken and we all know that, hit the bell. Otherwise, YouTube will not notify you when I upload new videos. Leave a comment down below with your favorite emo song. It doesn't have to be Panic at the Disco. Just whatever your favorite emo song was. Think Warped Tour days. What did you listen to nonstop? And if you weren't into emo music, what did you listen to? Thank you for listening to me whining and being emo about my favorite emo band ending. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.
I don't know, but I've been told the world outside is oh so cold. So cold.